Hi, I'm back online. I don't know what happened. I was actually in the middle of my live and then it's just disconnected. I think it's probably energetic because we were talking about truth and lie, and probably something happened, and it was too much truth for my connection. Um, so hopefully the people who are online will join again. Hi, Sherilyn. Thank you to be back online with us again. I don't know what happened. I think it was too much truth for my for my group or for my connection. I don't know. So, well, that's an opportunity to start from scratch again, because I don't think it recorded all of what I said. Okay, so let's start again. And hopefully this time it will be fine. So for those who are just watching that video, so basically something weird happened. My connection got cut off because we were very much in the middle of that theme of tonight. And then, you know what, sometimes apparently when there is a lot of resistance or maybe because my audience is also in that energy, they don't want to know the truth. So it got cut off. Anyway, so let's get back on track and let's start again. So the theme of my life is, how much truth can you handle, or is ignorance really bliss? So what does it really mean? Why did I choose that title? So as most of you know, I'm going through a training right now to expand my intuition, to actually unlock my intuition so that I can be more in tune with myself and tap into my psychic self. So, and the way to get there is to remove all of that heavy energy that we carry. And living in truth versus living in lie has something to do with it. Why? What is really truth? So truth is, as I mentioned earlier, but it was not recorded anyway, so I'm repeating it. Truth can be a fact, a knowing, and a feeling. And it has a certain vibration to it. And the vibration and the energy around truth is something that is light and that feels good. Whilst living in a lie is has a total different vibration to it. It can be heavy and draining. And it basically sucks the life out of you and the happiness out of you. So the point of bringing that up is that once we we decide to live in truth, then we have a better experience of life. But the problem with most of us is that we got used to our lie, to a life where sometimes when things are not really the way that we would like them to be, we'd rather look away and say, everything is fine. What are you talking about? And by avoiding dealing with the truth, it kind of drains our energy. It takes away our happiness. So Sherilyn, I know you wrote a few comments earlier, so if you wouldn't mind, write it down again so that I can read that and respond to it, that would be great. And it will help the audience as well. You talked about something living by default, and there were a few things that I didn't have time to read. So if you would mind. Hi, Ibrahim. Very happy to have you with us again tonight. So you just joined. So it's about living in truth versus living in a lie. And it's about the energy that you want to choose. And the more you want to expand, the more you want to manifest, the more you will have to face the truth and to take action and to act upon it. So that's why it can be scary. That's why a lot of people say they want things, they want a better life, but they stay in that wanting mode as opposed to doing it. Why? Because it takes a lot of courage to then do and face our reality so that we can then alter it, improve it, and get to the results where we want. So what happens when we don't deal with the truth? When we live in a lie, we play ostrich, you know. We don't want to deal with it, and it's something that we carry, as I mentioned earlier, we carry like a backpack. And that heaviness, it becomes almost like we're like a turtle almost. So we have this heavy stuff that we carry. We know that it shouldn't be that way, but you know, we've been carrying that for a while. So let's continue, because you know, I got used to it. Well, is that really how you want to live your life? Doesn't it feel better to get it out of your shoulder and then create the life that you want and act upon what the truth and make decisions accordingly? So this is what have been happening in the last few days of when I've been off, because this is quite an intense process, and seriously, it's quite it's challenging, but ultimately it's for our own good. You know, we want to be intuitive, we want to expand, we want to create the life that we want. So there are consequences to it, there are implications to it. So we can't say we want to improve our life and we want to manifest amazing things, and then we don't want to deal with some part of our life because we don't feel like it, or because it's too uncomfortable. Well, you know what? As long as you don't deal with it, you're going to feel like something is going to hold you back. And as long as you're not ready to deal with it, then stuff will happen that will block your progress. And that is the moment of truth. So to answer the question of the title of the live, you know, is ignorance really bliss? Well, we do say ignorance is bliss, because sometimes when you don't know about a few things, we're in a state of enjoying things without really knowing where we really are. And it feels good, but it's not, it's not the real depth of living, because we are living in a lie and we are ignoring it. So it feels okay, but somehow we actually do already know deep inside that there is something that is not right, but we don't want to deal with it. And because we don't want to deal with it, it's going to drain our energy, and we're not going to be able to operate at full capacity. So it's self-damaging. Does it make sense? So please, Sherilyn and Ibrahim, I'm looking forward to read your comments. So Ibrahim is saying, yes, I need your words. Well, I'm very happy and that you are enjoying these lives and that you are learning from it, because that's the purpose of it, so that we can, all of us, grow all together. So what happens when we live in a lie? What really happens to us? Well, we don't want to look at it. We are not comfortable to face it. And we don't want to be proactive because it feels painful. But the reality is it's going to create a snowball effect, and it's going to become so big at some point because, you know, snowball, that it's going to become at some point uncontrollable. So when we can't control it, then that creates real trauma and real drama. And that is something that is actually very detrimental to our own self, to our energy, to our well-being. So that little discomfort that we avoided is going to lead, if we don't take action, is going to lead upon a big drama in our lives. So what to do? What's the solution? So what do you think is the solution? Sherilyn, Ibrahim, let me know. So those who are watching, please say hi like Sherilyn and Ibrahim did. Perfect. And those who are watching the replay, you can either put an emoji or write replay or put a comment, or, you know, tell me that you've been watching, because I want to know what's happening. Oh, sorry, I didn't scroll down. I didn't see that. So Sharon is saying, I was saying, I know what it feels like to be heavy. I also more and more experience having the backpack off. This is great, Sharon. This is wonderful, which is wonderful, but I default to heaviness. You know what, Sharon, it's fine. Don't be too harsh on yourself, because you have experience already taking the backpack off. And that in itself is a great achievement. And yes, there will be time, then we will slip back to something that is maybe a little more comfortable. Or so it's a constant reminder. We need to remind ourselves constantly of what feels more true to us. Okay, so don't blame yourself for slipping up, for not being consistently doing what you want to do. It will happen, and it's okay. What matters is at the end what you do about it. Either feel sorry for yourself or say, oh, okay, fine, I missed it this time, or I slipped, but you know what, I'm getting back on track. And this is what you need to feel very excited about and very proud of, because that is the most important thing. Because remember, it's about these incremental steps, compounding effects of all of these decisions that you're making. And actually, I just gave away what the solution is. So what's the solution? What to do? So the solution is, actually, I need to keep scrolling down. Sorry, I didn't realize that. So Sharon said to live in truth, being right, and do not lie to anyone. Yes, I'm learning not to be harsh. Baby steps. Yes, Sherilyn says she's learning not to be harsh with herself and make baby steps. This is huge progress, Sherilyn, and I'm very happy for you. So, and she says, so my progress has started to show. And she adds on top of that, today I realized how much progress I had actually made. This is awesome. Yay! I'm very happy. I'm very excited when you know, people I work with are experiencing a progress and excitement, because that in itself is a huge accomplishment, and I'm happy when to see that. So yes. So, okay, so solution, Ibrahim says, being right and do not lie to anyone. Yes, but most importantly, before anyone, it's about not lying to yourself, right? Because sometimes we actually do lie to ourselves. And I have done that without sometimes knowing I was doing it. Because when we don't want to see something, or we are afraid of seeing something, we'd rather tell ourselves a different story. And I've done that many times. In fact, I'm going to share with you a little secret. I used to attract in my energetical field people who would lie to me. And I was like, why? How? You know, why? I don't lie to people. So we tend to remember what's happening in the outer is a reflection of what's happening in the inner. So it took me a while to understand that I have been lying to myself. And you know, this is my vulnerability project, so I am sharing more and more about things that I usually don't share. So so yes, I've been lying to myself, and it hurts to know, to realize that, because you know, this is part of facing the truth. So facing the truth can be painful. So so when you realize how much you have lied to yourself, so it's about facing the what is and embracing it. It doesn't mean staying there though, but it's accepting it. So before all of that happens, so when we are in that situation, do we live in truth or do we live in lie? Actually, we actually do know, whether because of how we feel. What do we need to do? We need to make a decision. Once we make that decision, do I really want to live in a life of lies or in a life of truth? So if I want to live in truth, in order to create the life that I desire, I'm happy to face the truth. And once we are facing our reality, the what is, the truth, whether it's about our feelings, whether it's about the state of our finances, or of our relationships, or our health, anything. Once we face it and we admit it to ourselves, this is the first step, right? Would you agree with me? So, so it's about taking it one step at a time. And so once we accept the what is, we are opening ourselves to know the truth and to embrace it. And then decide who we want to be. In one of the meditation that I do with the people I work with, there is this, I think I have done a video on that, about connecting to the light. So when we connect to the divine source energy, it's about having that light going through our senses, go through our ears for us to hear the truth, our eyes for us to see the truth, and our throat for us to speak the truth. So it might sound fun and kind of entertaining, but when it really happens and we have to see what we don't want to see, and we have to hear what we don't want to hear, and then we have to speak sometimes what we'd rather not say, then it's kind of a quite intense experience. But once we go through it and we are getting used to this, living in the truth and facing what our reality is like, is going to be a substantial step into making progress in our lives. So to answer the title, you know, the question of how much truth can you handle? So based on what you really want in your life, then it's about knowing that it means getting to a certain point of truth and being honest with yourself about where you are and what you've done and what has happened and what you can do from there. So Sharon said, yes, I agree. Ibrahim says, great topic that you're talking about, how we accept the lie to ourselves and why exactly. So tonight I would suggest, and those who are watching afterwards, if this is something that you are not afraid of doing, because it can be scary and you know it's kind of a intense exercise, I would like to invite you to look into yourself and ask yourself, what have I been lying myself about? What truth didn't I want to see? What truth didn't I want to hear? And what truth didn't I want to voice? Before that, I would like to encourage you to do a meditation. So do the ABC, you know, always be connected. So the connection to the light meditation. And then do ask yourself these questions. And then come up with your answer, and you know I would be very happy if you want to share and we can discuss it. So Sherilyn says, isn't it also how much pain I can handle? Yes, it's actually related to the shock that the truth can create pain temporarily. And I would like to add that if you trust your connection to source energy, if you trust your connection to the light or to God or to the higher power, then you will know that this connection will allow you and help you to handle whatever pain might come from getting to the truth. Because using the excuse of not wanting to get to the truth because we can't handle it will impair your ability to experience your life at its fullest capacity. Because once you get to the truth, then you can face it and handle it, right? And you will have tools to you will get tools to move forward and progress. But if you have a support group or a support system or a coach or a program or whatever, then obviously it's much more easier, or maybe I want to say safer, or you have more support, you know, more help. So yes, it's about as well the pain that you can handle, but it doesn't mean you won't be able to handle it, because you will have the support system and the tools to handle it. But don't use that as an excuse not to be aware of it, though. Yes, Sherilyn says, yes, that's true. Trust is key. And Ibrahim says, and be true with ourselves, with yourself. Yes. Exactly. So, you know, do you want to live with that sticky, heavy, dense energy, or do you want to live in that blissful, light, amazing, supportive energy that is truth? Yes, to make that transition might feel painful and not comfortable, but isn't it worth it? What do you think? Is what you desire not worth making that transition? So there are tools to do it, and there is a way to do it, but ultimately it's a much more empowered way of living your life. So I hope that you enjoyed that live tonight. It was very enjoyable to have an interactive session with the group, and thank you, Sherilyn, and thank you, Ibrahim. Sherilyn said definitely regarding living a more empowered life. So let me know if you have further questions. Otherwise, I will talk to you in my next video. And I wish you a good night. And yes, I did talk about using my pendulum to do some sort of practice. So I would do a separate live to do that. There are some people who showed interest because I created a poll. And yes, so if you want to dig deeper into anything that is blocking your manifestation, you can book sessions with me and a program where I will go really, really, really deep. And I will help you overcome whatever challenge you have. So obviously, I will be there to support you whatever truth comes up. So on that note, I wish you a good night, and I will talk to you in my next video. Good night. Bye-bye. Okay, Sharon said, thank you, Sabrina. It reinforces all of what I've been experiencing recently. Beautiful. Yes, I'm so happy. That's excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. So, so well done to you, and I will speak to you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.